It's going to be hot, hot, hot in Santa Clara on Sunday. But the hottest thing is going to be the 49ers offense. Cardinals 49ers preview right now on the Sprint Right Option podcast.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners. Sprint Right Option podcast. Oh my goodness, we are live. It is a new episode of the Sprint Right Option podcast. I'm Andrew Pasquini, joined as always by the incomparable, the beautiful, the Yankees fan he is, Jason Aponte. They got the Tigers, right? That's what I saw, right? It's the Tigers.
The
Royals, there it is. I got my AL Central teams mixed up there. It's the Yankees and Royals. We got plenty of time to talk baseball at the end of the episode because I'm sure there's a couple things we'll talk about. We have Niners Cardinals on Sunday. It's an exciting. I like divisional games, Jason. I think you like them. We all like them. I especially like them when it's against a team that the Niners have dominated the last 2 years, and it kind of feels like it's not an easy win. There's no such thing as an easy divisional win. But it feels like one of the easier divisional matchups the Niners could have this season. So I'm feeling pretty good going into Sunday. How you feeling going into Sunday?
I'm good. A lot of complaints about the heat. That feels like a regular New York summer day. You guys got to buckle down, man, and grab your man pants, man. This is bad. But we got a good super chat to start this off too. Started off on a good note.
Great Fox. Hi, Jason and Andrew. I have a question about the stream thumbnail. Did Jason have to crouch or did Andrew use a ladder? I think I was crouched. I think that's what it was. I was sitting.
You sat and I had to crouch. Yes. So we got
yes,
right.
That's what it was.
And not to be confused either. Andrew Pasquini is 6 foot up. It's not. That's not a tiny man. So again, we just made it work. But yeah, that's one of our better pitches we took closer to Thanksgiving last season before the 49ers took on the Tampa Bay Bucks. So, yeah, and shout out to Sour Death Sam for the plug and everything.
I was going to say, that was a fun day. That was, what did we do? We went to that place in Oakland, that dinner in Oakland. Yep. That's what it was. Farmhouse Kitchen. I love that place.
Right. It was, was it Japanese? It was so good, dude.
My God.
The soup I had this that like a piece of Flintstone rib in it, like that big in there. It was so good, man.
Thai food, Jason, just so we can clarify it.
Sorry.
For our Niner Cardinal preview, we had Thai food last year in Oakland. Farmhouse Kitchen, very good place. Jason, I saw a tweet earlier this week from the one Jason Aponte talking about the Arizona secondary, and that's where I want to start. Because I have some numbers too that are kind of as the Arizona pass defense as a whole. And you had kind of more specifics on it. So I'm going to start with the broad look at it because to me, there is no bigger mismatch in this game than the 49ers pass offense against the Arizona pass defense as a whole. And I say pass defense as a whole because Jason mentioned secondary, 78.6 completion percentage against. That's the highest in the league. So Brock Purdy, another good thing there. But you look at the front of the Arizona pass defense, that pass rush, 42 pressures as a team is the fewest according to PFF. Dennis Gardeck, their best pass rusher, he has 6 pass pressures on the season. That is the fewest to lead a team in the NFL. So there's not much of a pass rush for Arizona, not much of a secondary. It shouldn't come as a surprise that this is a very struggling pass defense. And I don't know if you've noticed, Jason, but we've been talking a lot about this Brock Purdy kid. Don't know if you've heard of him. A lot of people say he's Mr. Irrelevant. Now he's relevant. Don't know if you've seen that joke before. But we're seeing a step up in the game of Brock Purdy. This feels like the ultimate show it to me game for Brock Purdy because he's going to have a real chance to show it against the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday.
Yeah, and funny enough, week 4 last season, Brock Purdy went 20 for 21 against the Arizona Cardinals. So everybody's impressed by 18 for 18 with Jared Goff, which is impressive in its own right because you didn't drop a pass and had an incompletion. But Brock was 1 away from, I would say, obliterating that record, even if it meant that it was 3. But yeah, I think the advantage is here. The offense keeps rolling in this one. And it's kind of funny watching the Cardinals. It's literally five down linemen, 2 linebackers, 4 secondary. So it's a little 5-2-4 that they run. And it's almost 2 edge guys, 3 maybe 3 edge guys. They kind of move them around. Zaven Collins is one of them. Like watching them is like that defense is hard to figure out what the grasp on it is. And you would think that with Jonathan Gannon would be a defensive minded guy, would be able to get those guys clicking. I think it's a little bit of talent, but there is a little bit of just like looking at this defense and saying, man, these guys are out of position. Man, they're kind of doing things that are a little bit different. The real test is going to come from the pass rush and being able to hold up. I think this is a good time, again, based off of what happened with the Patriots, for the 49ers offensive line to keep the good vibes going and gain a little bit more. But absolutely, 2 things are absolutely going to be true in this game. Brock Purdy is going to be absolutely cooking. And here's your Brandon Ayuk breakout game. Book it, seal it. Make sure you look at me for that.
You got it before me. I was going to say it feels like a great Brandon Ayuk game because not only does Arizona allow a high completion percentage, as I said, 78.6 highest in the lead, they allow 8.5 yards per attempt. That is the second highest, second or third highest, one of the two yards per attempt. And Brock Purdy, he's pretty good with that yards per attempt. I actually looked it up. Brock Purdy leads the NFL in yards per attempt. It's something stupid like 9.5. It's the best in the league. But I was looking at passing yard totals. Brock Purdy's number 2 in the NFL, and this is entering week 5. I don't know if Cousins probably jumped a few spots yesterday with 509 yards, by the way, which woo. But Purdy, Geno Smith leads the NFL entering week 5 in passing yards. Purdy was trailing by like 50-something yards, 55 yards on 21 fewer pass attempts. So like Purdy's just throwing the ball at an unreal rate right now. And yeah, this last week, I know it was a 2-reception game for Brandon Ayuk, but it really felt like his best game, especially with that 38-yard reception, his longest play of the season. I know a lot of the attention's going to Ayuk, which is opening up Jennings, but now I really feel like we could be getting to a point where it starts to balance itself out a little bit because now we've seen 2 weeks in a row of, we can't let Jawan Jennings do what he wants now. We're going to have to give him equal attention. And by the way, like Deebo Samuel exists. We haven't even mentioned Deebo Samuel or George Kittle. So like this is already a poor pass defense, and it's only going to get more stretched on Sunday. And that's why I feel like this is going to be, I just feel like Shanahan's sitting there being like, okay, Ayuk's been slow. And he's watching this Arizona tape, he's finding all these gaps that he can find in the secondary. And he's going to be like, this is where you're just going to live on Sunday. Mm-hmm. And this feels like a chance for Ayuk's like first real big game since signing that extension.
Yeah, I'm all in. And Matt says, Jay, you're calling the Brandon Ayuk game Stone Cold Lock done. Lock it in. Whatever his over-under is, this is his game. And I think that the 49ers are going to find a way early and often to get him involved, kind of like they were trying to do in the Rams game and get him going, except this time, there's nothing that they're going to be able to roll over in coverage. Give me him against Sean Murphy Bunting all the time. I think this is the game where we get it going. And again, this is going to be a big Brock Purdy game. I'm not as worried about the offense, especially when it comes to this. Hugo is asking, what do we think about Juice calling out Grant? I just want to keep this short and sweet. That has nothing to do with the Cardinals and 49ers on Sunday or the price of tea in China. None of our business. We are not in it. That's it. None of our business. Doesn't matter.
No. So Jason, Arizona allowed 42 points to Washington last week, and I know Washington's kind of that trendy pick, but it's just one of those things where, like, God, if Washington's offense can do that, why can't this offense? And
wait, you know why they did that though, right? You know what we were overlooking when it came to that, and it's our favorite narrative with the Washington Arizona.
Left hand up.
Cliff Kingsbury revenge game.
Oh, that's true. I was just gonna mention the name too, so that works out. The 42 points scored by the Commanders, a lot of points, but the 49ers last four games against Arizona, 38-10, 38-13, 35-16, 45-29, and that's against Cliff Kingsbury and Jonathan Gannon. It's split evenly between the two, so it's not like he's picking on one coach. And maybe the Arizona scores are a little skewed because you ready for this? Who's list the core? I really seem to enjoy lists this season for podcasts. The quarterbacks to face the Niners in the last four games for Arizona: Colt McCoy, Trace McSorley, David Blau, and Joshua Dobbs. And Jason, big question: Joshua Dobbs going to give the secret sauce to the Cardinals offense to the 49ers for Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, he knows all about Arizona's offense. I mean, isn't that how it works? Former quarterback plays. Trey Lance gives Dallas all of the 49ers secrets. Jimmy Garoppolo gives the 49ers secrets to the Rams. Why wouldn't it, come back? It's sarcasm, obviously, is what we're getting at. It's hard. It's hard. Sarcasm doesn't come through the speaker at times, but yeah, it doesn't matter. The emergency third quarterback isn't moving the needle and giving Kyle Shanahan something that he hasn't seen that he's going to exploit on Sunday. Same thing with Brock Purdy.
Yeah, and so my point I'm getting to is this is a Niners offense that has recently done really well against this Arizona defense, and I really feel like this Arizona's defense taking an even further step back this year. And two, like last year, you mentioned it already. It was the Brock Purdy dominance of the Arizona defense, the 20 for 21 game, all that stuff. But that was a Brock Purdy that felt like he was still not quite where he was now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it like this, Jason. Spoiler for the end of the show. I don't think this game's going to be particularly close.
Wow.
I have no reason to think so. I think Arizona's offense is very interesting. I think
It's
that's
problematic.
the word I'm going to use. Yeah, like it's one of those teams. It's a team that I'll throw the any given Sunday terminology out there. It's an offense that at any given Sunday can put up a lot of points. But then I saw them put up 14 points last week against a very poor Washington defense. They put up 13 points against a better Detroit defense last week. You got to go back to week 2. They scored 41 against the Rams defense, but the Rams defense hasn't been very good this year. I don't think that this. I know Fred Warner's questionable. I think he practiced today, so I'm going to guess
he's playing.
Leaning towards playing on Sunday. I know the Arizona offense could be an any given Sunday type of offense. I just don't think it happens on Sunday against this Niners defense, who, as we said on Monday, Jason, kind of saw the ball go through the net for the first time against a weaker Patriots offense. Let's be honest, but it's an offense in Arizona that, while yes, it has those names. Through the first month, it's been a middle of the road offense, 13th in points, 13 in yards, stuff like that. Passing, it's not particularly well, 25th in passing yards. So it's just, I don't know how to feel about the Arizona offense against this Niners defense. I just feel that much more confident in the Niners offense against this Arizona defense, if that makes sense.
You and I don't disagree on much, but I'll tell you this. I'm not looking forward to watching this game. And if you look back to last season when Arizona played the 49ers and Josh Dobbs was their quarterback, that game was really interesting for a little while. It really was. And now, and that was obviously with Dobbs, and now with this defensive line kind of rounding into form against a Patriots team, can you shorten your rushes and keep Kyler Murray in the pocket? And what's funny is Arizona has lost that one big game to Washington, but every other game has been a one-score game, including the Detroit game. And they always find a way to be annoying for the 49ers. Spoiler alert, this is not the podcast you come to if you want us to predict 49ers losses. But I've got this game a lot closer than we think. And I don't think the 49ers offense is going to be the problem. The problem is going to come into discipline on the defensive line, shortening your rushes. That wide nine's got to come in a little bit further to keep him in the pocket. Kyler's just going to be moving around, and just if you can't contain him and make him step up in the pocket into all those big men, it becomes scramble drill. And we've already kind of seen the coverage kind of be whatever. I mean, obviously they weren't tested last week, but I'm just divisional game, weird. Arizona always kind of plays them tough, except for that one time, in Arizona when the 49ers blew the doors off them. But there's something about this game that I feel like last week's blowout loss has people kind of snickering at Arizona. And I'm not saying that this is a trap game. I'm saying this is a divisional game in which Kyler Murray is historically either beating the 49ers or giving them fits. I'm not as gung-ho about like a blowout. I know the 49ers are going to score whenever they want. That's not the issue. I think they're, obviously Greg Dortch, who plays the slot, I believe he runs about 69, which is a great number percent of his routes from the slot. With Michael Wilson on the outside, who's no slouch himself. James Conner is somebody who, when you look at the raw numbers, you're like, oh, he's not getting a lot of attempts. Yeah, they're getting boat raced last week. Yeah. They had to abandon the run. I just think that this game has a chance to kind of stick around and get into shootout mode. And when it's a divisional game, when it's a team that kind of always hangs around and is annoying. And the other thing is, Jonathan Gannon and the Cardinals, that's kind of the team that they were last year, where they were annoying, they were around, they lost a lot of games, but they were kind of getting close. And it kind of felt like the 2017 Niners, where you were just like, yeah, they're not good, but they're in almost every single game. They just need a little bit more and get closer. I wonder if this is like going to be one of those games, because every other game has either been a win, a one-score loss, and then you have the blowout. Arizona's been competitive in those other games. It's just that one game that might be blinding us from what they really might be.
See, I think I'm on the different side of it, because you mentioned shootout, and Arizona's offense absolutely has that capability. It's just, to me, it's gonna come down to, can Arizona make not just a stop, but like consecutive stops and keep the Niners offense off the board for multiple drives in a row? Because that's really what they're going to need to do. And I just, those pressure numbers are so
not worried
bad
about the 49ers offense. Not worried.
Yeah.
The 49ers, and I can give you their point total right here. They're going to score 31 points in this game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They got
I'm a little higher. I'm excited to show you my score prediction.
Good. I mean, I just think it's 30 and up, easy.
Yeah.
I've got the Cardinals kind of hanging around and being annoying.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's where I'm lost, because I think I will hand up. I think I might be discrediting the Arizona offense more than I need to be, because I see these kind of individual pieces that do look really, really good. You know, Kyler Murray has been a pain in the 49ers side. Marvin Harrison, since that week 1 game, has been very, very good. Greg Dortch has always kind of been a thorn in the Niners side. James Conner, 4 touchdowns in 5 games against the Niners as an Arizona Cardinal. So there are pieces. It's just, I'm gonna be honest, I just don't respect the Arizona Cardinals. I think that's what it is, and that's fair. I am one individual. Jason, I think, has a little more respect for them than
I'm
I do.
usually the one that's saying, like, I'm not scared of these dudes. When am I supposed to be? I don't know what
which makes me nervous. Makes me really nervous, because last week we were talking Patriots, and I was like, Jason, why am I so damn nervous about this football game?
And I told you 31-13, and it was 30-13.
And look at that. So I don't know. I like to think that, I know it's the Patriots, and maybe this is a little naive, and this is my 49ers fan side showing of me. I like to think that last week was the momentum swing for the 49ers defense that they needed.
Yeah.
And it's going to carry. I'm essentially, here's what I'm banking on. Dumb football guy thought that momentum is going to carry them through this game against a better offense with better weapons. That's a total football guy thought. No film here, no stats, just vibes. That's all I'm running off of.
I mean, vibes are more important than facts at this point. But yeah, no, I look, the 49ers are going to win. I just have this weird feeling that the game won't go down to the wire.
No.
Like, I think everyone's like mishearing me or misunderstanding.
Yes.
I'm not saying this game is going to go down to the last drive, but don't be surprised if you find yourself halfway through the third quarter and the game is like, the Cardinals are within an earshot of, the 49ers. They possibly pull away at the end. But I don't have a problem with the 49ers offense in this game. I know they're going to be able to do what they want. But
can I give an example of what you're talking about a little bit, though? Last year, which game is this? This is the week 5 game, the week 4 game that you've already mentioned it. The Niners had a 21-3 lead with 5:22 left in the second quarter. Arizona kicked a field goal to make it 21-10. They scored a touchdown to cut it to 21-10. They got the lead from 21-3 to 21-16. So they cut an 18-point lead to 5. And then the Niners scored 14 unanswered. Final score is 35-16. So kind of what you're talking about here, Jason, is Niners open out the gate hot. Middle of the game, shit gets weird, as it tends to do for 49er games. But then the Niners turn it on in the second half. That's kind of what you're talking about here.
Yeah, and the defensive line did great. We saw a lot of blitzing. We saw Nick Sorensen get into his bag. But this Arizona Cardinals offensive line is much better than the Patriots. And I would even say better than the 49ers? All 5 of them? The collective. No one on the Arizona Cardinals line is better than Trent Williams.
Yeah, no.
But their pressure numbers and everything, they're pretty low. They don't really give it up. And they give up sacks based on the fact that Kyler is running into sacks or trying to make something happen or trying to like move around. They're not giving it up from the pocket. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this game plays out. Because the one wild card in this game is always going to be Kyler.
Yeah.
And which Kyler do you get? Do you get the annoying, badass little kid running around who's like, keeping drives alive on third down? By the way, the 49ers are bottom of the league in third down. So let's test that this week. And you get your first taste of whether this defense can stop a run for a running first quarterback, which they historically have struggled with. Again, the 49ers are going to win. But are they going to do what Washington did? I don't think so. And I know for a fact that the 49ers are far better than Arizona, than Washington is better than Arizona. Meaning, like, the gap is further. But divisional games are weird. And they always end up kind of knowing each other, right? So I think that's just where I'm at. Look, perhaps it's just me being humble because I'm out here talking shit about the Minnesota Vikings and everything, and then all of a sudden, whatever. But just this one feels like there's one element to this that kind of is a wild card, and it's always going to be Kyler Murray. And if this offensive line can hold up a little bit, then we might see some one-on-ones. Marvin Harrison, Greg Dortch could be annoying. What's going to happen? Does Renardo Green start against Michael Wilson? Michael Wilson is no slouch either. How does this work? Hufanga is going to be back in this game, so we're going to figure that out. I want to see. So if last week was the defensive line seeing the ball go through the hoop, secondary, now this is your time.
Yeah.
Now it's your time now. So if we're going to lock all this in, the defensive line did their job last week against the Patriots because there was no threats. Now there are threats. Now, secondary, you've got to lock in. And I want to see you guys be the reason. Let's see some cover sacks. Give these pass rushers some more time to get there. And you're going to do it against 3 capable wide receivers. One of them is very good, it looks like. It's just that. It's less about what the team is and how good they are and the matchups. How do the matchups look? A team doesn't have to be better than you to present problems and present issues. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just looking at them as a whole and how they want to run that offense, and Kyler being the wild card. And now the secondary has to lock this one up. And I think that's going to be the key for the defense.
Well, let me ask you about that wild card then, because the question I have, Jason, is, there's a bit of a perception, I would say a correct perception, that Robert Sala's 49ers defense has struggled against mobile quarterbacks. I think there was that perception a little bit with D'Amico Ryans as defensive coordinator, and I think he got better over time. I think that narrative went away a little bit. This is Ben Sorensen's first shot at a really true mobile quarterback as the 49ers defensive coordinator. Does that make you at all concerned, or is the mobile quarterback thing kind of beating a dead horse type thing?
I just think, again, it's something that's there, and it's always going to be something that is brought up. You think that, this is like kind of how another test. Jacoby Brissett wasn't going to test them over the top running the football, none of that. I think, again, that just presented itself as a matchup. But you want to see it because you're going to run into it, down the line. Perfect time to start is right now. If you think about it, Jordan Love can move. He can't really run like Kyler. Jalen Hurts, obviously, if you play them, that'll be in the playoffs. Jared Goff can't really do it. If you run into other teams, like if you're not going to run into the Ravens to the Super Bowl, but you still kind of want to check a box.
Yeah.
You just want to check the box. Like, I don't feel as hesitant that a running quarterback can come in here and just do whatever he wants, or they have issues containing. Like, they run an RPO and some Devondre Campbell's just spinning at the second level looking for the ball, and like the guy's running right past them. Like, that's the stuff that I'm worried about, and I want to see them take care of in this one.
Jason, are you ready for Andrew very dramatic question?
Uh-oh.
Okay, so considering the Niners schedule after this game and the 2-2 start, a little refresher for those of you who don't know the Niners schedule. After Arizona, it's at Seattle versus Kansas City versus Dallas, the bye week, at Tampa Bay versus Seattle, at Green Bay, at Buffalo, and that takes you into December. Not an easy game maybe until December against the Bears. We'll see what the Bears look like. Is this a must-win feel strong? What's weaker than a must-win? You would really, really like to win it because this is a very winnable game, and you don't have very many winnable games in the next 2 months.
It's a gotta have it.
You've already
lost. You've already lost an NFC West game to the Rams. It's a gotta have it the next 2 weeks. This is the most important stretch of football right now for the 49ers before the bye. I'll explain. This win. You win in Seattle, you're in first place.
Yep.
Dallas comes to town. You dispatch them because they suck. Then the big bad boogeyman comes in. And it's the Chiefs. Or do I have it backwards? Is it Chiefs?
You have it
I thought
backwards. It's Seattle, then Kansas City.
See, it's Dallas, then Kansas City.
No, it's Seattle, Kansas City,
Kansas
then
City,
Dallas.
and then Dallas. Okay.
Yes.
But the boogeyman, if you slay the boogeyman, and then we get those scrub ass Cowboys, you go into the bye week 6-2.
Looking good.
And now you're looking good. But you've got to start winning NFC West games now. Mm-hmm. And it's not about a must win because you've got to beat Arizona. You just need to get your NFC West games in. Mm-hmm. Seattle's going to probably beat the shit out the Giants. Mm-hmm. So that next game on Thursday, you need to get closer. This is easily the most critical stretch of games right now, right before the bye. And after and during the bye, what's there? The trade deadline. Mm-hmm. Christian McCaffrey might be back. Dre Greenlaw might be back. Everything kind of goes from there. 6-2 is a hell of a lot better than whatever is worse. I mean, the goal in the next 4 games should be 3-1. 4-0 would be great.
Yeah.
4-0 would be great. But you get in 3-1 and you're in 5-3, but you got 2 NFC West wins, then you right the wrongs of that Los Angeles Rams loss. So, yes, this is the most critical stretch of games for the 49ers this season.
I like the gotta have it. I love the gotta have it.
Gotta have it.
Perfect, like, in between the must win and can't lose. Jason, do you have anything super specific to this game? Because I do have one topic I want to throw out there, but I want to make sure we kind of got everything in this game talked about. Do you have anything that you've been itching to talk about?
Just back to the secondary, right? Now, Hufanga's in there, and Demo, Mooney, Jair. We're going to figure out whether this is Renardo Green, Isaac Yiadom. Renardo Green outsnapped Isaac Yiadom. I felt like that was the right time to do it because the Patriots wide receiver core does not present any challenges. This is the time for Renardo Green to get some reps. Do the 49ers go back to him in a game where they can be tested a little bit further? Do they have that confidence in him? Do they go right back to Yiadom? This is a secondary game. This is a secondary game to lock it all in. The defensive line looked great last week because their matchup was there. I need the secondary to overpower this receiver core. I need the secondary core, this secondary people in a secondary group. Now with Hufanga, everybody healthy, I need them to take care of business here because that'll show me something to confidently say next week when you go up against DK and Jackson Smith and Jiba and Lockett and the way Geno Smith's throwing the football, you feel better about that, especially on a short week. This is exactly the type of confidence builder that we thought last week was for the defensive line that it has to be right now for the secondary in this game.
Yeah, and it's not like the defensive line depth is going to get any deeper at this point. You know, it's getting hurt, and we've talked about it, how it's not going to be a ton of pass rush depth. It's going to be the secondary that's going to need to come in, and it feels like the talent is there. There is no way the talent isn't there because we know what Charvarius Ward is. We've seen Diamador Lenore grow. The secondary is a little, or the safety group's a little questionable right now. But like Malik Mustafa had a pretty good game last week. Jair Brown's had some flashes. It's just putting it all together at this point. And it almost feels like they've needed to work through some things. And as I said, New England is New England, and it wasn't like anybody was really threatening, but it was just good to see it from the defense. So yeah, this is a huge game. I'm curious to see what they do with Marvin Harrison. The Niners aren't a defense necessarily to have Charvarius Ward follow players, but it's like this weird catch-22 with it but like Marvin Harrison's really, really good, but it's also the first time the Niners have seen him. So maybe they ease into, I don't know. So like, there's a lot of little matchups with this Arizona offense that is very intriguing, and just the Niners secondary playing as they should makes it way less intriguing.
Yeah. And again, it's all building right now, right? Like, again, matchups last week, perfect for the defensive line. Cool. You passed that test. That's great. This week, you have to pass this test because the tests get harder. You know, you have Seattle, then no matter what, I don't care if it's mailmen running routes for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. You better be on your A game everywhere. Dallas, I don't fear as much because it's literally just CeeDee Lamb. Brandon Cooks is injured. We're probably not going to get Dexter Lawrence in that game. Might not even get Micah Parsons if the injuries are going well. And I don't care. I hope they all play. Bring Emmitt Smith and bring all those guys back. The 49ers still whip their ass. I'm not worried about that. I'm talking about like the games that when you see matchups and the Cowboys don't have those threatening guys, you're looking at right away like, I need to see them kind of hoop against good competition because it's only going to get worse as it goes along and as the games get bigger.
Jason, do you want to recklessly speculate for a second?
About?
Davante Adams?
Oh God.
That kind of situation? Because listen, I wasn't gonna say anything in this podcast episode about it until a certain general manager of the San Francisco 49ers
I can't believe he said that.
threw out a little never say never.
I can't believe he said that.
And my only thing is, so here's my thought on it. And maybe I'm not the smartest contract guy. So maybe, Jason, you could say, Andrew, you're stupid.
No, I don't know anything about contracts, so I'll never say that.
According to Spotrac, one of the best contract places, Davante Adams has an out after this season in his contract. I think it's like a $15 million dead cap hit. So I already might be reading it wrong. I do not see the harm in making a true rental move for Davante Adams. But also I'm very simple, Jason. I see Davante Adams and I say go get him. So that's just my opinion on it. I didn't want to talk about it, and then John Lynch had to open his damn mouth. Okay, Jason. Yeah. So yeah. This is my thought. Make fun of me for it after.
I won't.
Listen. He's hurt. He is legitimately hurt.
He is not hurt.
You don't think he's hurt? Because everybody's saying he's hurt. You don't think he's hurt?
He is not hurt, man.
Okay, so let me play the game. If he's hurt, he's not going to be ready for at least a couple weeks. Jason, you mentioned in a text yesterday, it's going to take some time to figure it out. You don't have to make this move right away. The longer the Raiders wait, the cheaper it's going to get for a team to trade for him because it's less games. That's
they want to get it done this week, they're saying.
They're trying to get it done this week, but if nobody is meeting them at that price, because the Raiders coming out and saying they're actively looking to trade him doesn't help anything. It's not like they're playing coy, being like, oh, well, we're going to keep him. We don't need to trade him. The longer they wait, the cheaper he gets. So my thing is, I don't think you could sign him to an extension. There's a lot of money here. My thing is, I don't think it hurts as a very true rental for this season and then move on from him after this season. But again, I'm adding the caveat of I don't 100% understand the cap. And if that's not possible, tell me it's not possible.
It's just any deal that would go with him would have to come with the restructure. He obviously wants to make a little bit more money. The question I have is just a straight up football question.
Yes.
Who are you taking off the field for Davante Adams? The number 3 receiver in football right now, Jawan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. Where is he playing?
I want to make a joke, but I'm not going to. Yeah, that's the concern. I think that's
I'll tell you
fair point. Yes, I think my idea. Jason, here's my answer.
Yep.
That's a Kyle Shanahan problem to figure out. I'm just putting Davante Adams on the Niners. He's got to figure out how to get him on the field, man.
I will make a prediction. I think it's the New Orleans Saints. This man wants to play with Derek Carr by any means necessary. That is a great fit as well, too. Throw him out there with Shaheed and Chris Olave. Now you're cooking. But I don't know what is his infatuation with Derek Carr. He's literally played with one of the greatest throwers of the football, probably the greatest thrower of the football, and you still say, I'm friends with this guy and I want to play with him. You could go play with Josh Allen. You can even go play with Justin Fields if you want in Pittsburgh. But I see him going to the Saints, man. I really do. Just because the whole reason he chose that dumpster fire of franchise was because he wanted to play with Derek Carr. I can definitely see that happening again. And the Saints are a fit and they've emerged as one of the teams, obviously. It's always going to be whatever team Derek Carr is on, never the team that Jimmy Garoppolo's on.
What's your real quick, and we'll get to Hugo's question here in a second. What's your Jason Aponte selfish fantasy booking? Where's Davante Adams going? That's not the Niners because Niners are like
fantasy football.
No, I'm talking like if Jason Aponte can pick any team to trade for Davante Adams for just your entertainment value, like that team is so much more better to watch now. What team would you want to see Davante Adams on?
Circle the wagons, send them to the Bills, man.
Is it the Bills? The Bills or the Ravens would be the two for me. I think the Ravens would be a lot of fun. Just to have an offense with Lamar, Derrick Henry, and Davante Adams would be so fun to watch.
Right.
But yeah, I just listen. I didn't want to talk about it. As I said, John Lynch said something, so I figured we'd mention it because, hey, never say never.
Never.
Hugo, we need another running back until CMC gets back. Guerrero is messing up. Demon Mode is taking too many snaps. By the way, where did Demon Mode come from? Did I miss something?
I don't know, but I like it.
I like Demon Mode. I feel like I've seen it a lot. Worried he'll get tired or hurt. God forbid. Any running back we can bring in. Jason, I have a name. I'm curious to see what name you have, though.
Look at my face. Who am I going to say?
Is it Jerick McKinnon?
He's available. He's there.
Is.
Make it happen. Make it
I had another.
happen.
I'm kind of on the same brain length as you. Call Miami, Raheem Mostert.
Call Miami Jeff Wilson.
Call Miami Jeff. Call Miami Devin A-Chain.
Call
Miami Tyreek Hill. Look at that. Just call Miami, take all their players.
No,
go ahead, Jason.
Available guys, Jerick McKinnon, obviously the one. Matt Breida could be somebody that would be there that is trusted. I do agree with this sentiment though, and I have another thing to add to you, and I said it on the show that I have with Peacock. Jordan Mason is now the most critical offensive player for the 49ers. Obviously, Brock Purdy is the quarterback, right? Obviously, Brock Purdy's the quarterback. Let me explain. Let me explain. If Jordan Mason, for some reason, gets injured, and you have to run Deebo Samuel 10, 12, 15 carries just because you don't trust Isaac Guerrero, your offense is exponentially worse. And dropping Brock Purdy back, and he's been hooping. By the way, playing the best football of his career. Shout out to Mina Khan. She knows ball. After I wrote my article, she stole it and she ran with it. That's obviously a joke. But if Jordan Mason goes down and doesn't play, the 49ers cannot run the football. So this is what I mean about most critical.
Yeah.
Obviously, the quarterback's the most critical because he touches. I'm talking about offensive weapon. If he goes down, who on God's green earth is going to run the football? And do you think that it is wise for Brock Purdy to drop back 50 times and just say, whatever, Ayuk is down, Jennings is down there somewhere? He's playing very good football, but if Jordan Mason does not play, it makes him the most critical piece to this offense and the part that can really unravel this thing quickly if he's not around.
I did not think about that one bit, but Jason, you are 100% spot on because we saw Brock Purdy had one of the best games of his career in the Rams game without Deebo Samuel, without George Kittle. The layup joke is here, but he's pretty much done without Brandon Ayuk all season. So like we've seen that Brock Purdy can make this offense work with the lack of weapons, but you're right, because if you take the run game away from this offense, you want to put the Trey Lance offense for a scrambling machine Brock Purdy? Like what would the answer be? Wow. Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think in an offense, which is cool. So God, if you would have said that 5 weeks ago, James, like as a bold prediction before the season, saying in week 5, Andrew, we would be saying that Jordan Mason's the most important player on quarterback per minute, because I think it's very fair to say that in 2024, Jason, we just assume the quarterback's the most important. It is the most important. So when we say Jordan Mason's the most important player on the 49ers offense right now, that is removing Brock Purdy from the conversation. I think you're absolutely spot on, because you can't, because like the mystique of Deebo Samuel running the ball is you don't know if he's running the ball or if he's being a receiver, where if you're using him strictly as a running back, that kills all of that. Yeah. I think you're 100% spot on with that. I think Jordan Mason is the most can't lose player, at least out of the weapons, because Trent Williams exists too. He is the most can't lose player right now on this 49ers offense in terms of the weapons.
And the 49ers need to be operating under the assumption that Christian McCaffrey is not going to play it down this season.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, whatever you come up in your mind is the worst, it's usually not as bad as that. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. But if you're not prepared for the worst, and then you find out that this is going to happen, and you're smashing Jordan Mason into the, and then he goes down, my God, things get scary. So some of the names that are left, oh, this is gross. Jerick McKinnon, Eno Benjamin, Josh Kelly, Matt Breida, James Robinson, Latavius Murray, Matt Breida, and Jerick McKinnon. Those are the two that I would say that you need to at least bring in, because they have experience. They can operate in this offense. You need someone else. Jordan, and you know what's funny? If Christian McCaffrey comes back, Jordan Mason still needs to be involved. It's not like you can go balls to the wall with Christian McCaffrey off the rip when he comes back. So this is such a delicate time right now for Jordan Mason because you really can't take him off the field. You don't trust anybody else. The Deebo Samuel, when he lines up right behind Brock Purdy, it's always a run. And you still don't want to subject Deebo Samuel to those hits. Jordan Mason is the most critical weapon on this offense right now. And if he goes down, things can get really, really fucking scary. And that's all I'm worried about.
So I'm kind of doing my baseball mind here. I'm just kind of looking at the standings right now, saying who could potentially be sellers at the trade deadline, maybe looking to move players. And this isn't in thinking about contracts. New England, they're 1-3. Ramondre Stevenson, Antonio Gibson, those are two running backs that are pretty
Gibson's
decent.
the starter.
Gibson's the starter. The Broncos, I don't think this is a name they'd be willing to trade, but like
Javonte?
backwards way to get Javonte Williams. They're 2-2, not looking great. Khalil Herbert is another name that's been. I saw, who was that? Was it Javi in the group chat yesterday?
Khalil Herbert. I love that. I love that.
I'm just eyeballing team. I mean, Jacksonville, I don't think they really have a running back.
Etienne and Bigsby are going to stay there. They're not doing
Etienne and Bigsby. I'm in the NFC now. The Giants probably could sell, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, that's really the sellers right now looking at it. And we're 4 weeks through, so there's no sellers, but we are getting to that point of where we're nearing the trade deadline. And that's the other thing about like my hypothetical Devontae Adams trade too, is the Niners have a shit ton of cap right now. I think it was 51 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they probably want that to roll over, but like you could also use that for a rental for this season and fit under the cap and then, let that player go at the end of the year. I know not the ideal situation, but it's just the Niners have the chance to be very, very flexible at the trade deadline.
No, they do. And I think just to go back to the Devontae Adams thing is they really have set a plan for paying Brock Purdy and whatever it is that they're going to do. Any potential Devontae Adams move kind of nerfs that a little bit. Yeah. Like it's trading for a running back, I think is easier because of the way those contracts are structured. And, nobody's really paying running backs outside of like the big wigs. But like, let's take it like let's look, for example, Kansas City. Kansas City lost Isaiah Pacheco. They said, okay, let's try Carson Steele. Carson Steele gets benched after he fumbles. They find Kareem Hunt off the street. Kareem Hunt's the starter again. And why? Because he's reliable. McKinnon, Breida, it's not sexy. It doesn't knock your socks off, but you need somebody who can just be on the field and take some carries. And that's all it really is. It's not the McKinnon thing is obviously a running joke with us. And it is. And obviously everybody's gonna be like, well, Jason, he doesn't want to come here because of the way. Screw that. Time heals all wounds. And when you need a job, you need a job. I don't think the 49ers are going to care that much when it comes to that. So screw that. I don't want to hear that. Like, oh, when he went and he said all this, who cares? The guy's unemployed right now. He needs a job. If the Niners need him, they're not going to say, well, remember what you said on IG Live. We don't want you back. No, they're not. Kyle Shanahan wanted to do exactly what he wanted to do with Christian McCaffrey, with Jerick McKinnon. He had the foresight to do it first. You just need guys who can take snaps. I don't want to see Deebo back there 8 times a game.
No.
I don't want to see, and unfortunately, I love Garendo. His vision is just, it's not right. It's not there right now. It's just somebody who you can rely on. It doesn't mean that Matt Breida is going to come here and light on the world on fire. It doesn't mean that Jerick McKinnon is. You just need solid guys who can pass pro in certain situations, who know the system, who are solid baseline players. Because right now, you have literally nothing behind Jordan Mason. That's the scary part about all this.
Joe Boyd joining into the trade deadline conversation, I'm assuming a little bit here. Brendel and McKivitz need to be replaced. Niners need O-line help. The thing is, at least in the scope of the trade deadline, if they are better than Brendel and McKivitz, both starters in the NFL, they're probably not available.
They're probably not going to get traded.
And that's because who was it last year? The Jacksonville. The Niners were in on him a little bit. He was a guard. I think he went from Jacksonville to Cleveland. Who was that? I'm totally drawing a blank. Jason, talk while I Google this trade.
Here, look. Call up Rand Carthan and ask him what's up with Daniel Brunskill.
Ezra Cleveland.
Ezra Cleveland. I feel better about like calling Brunskill back. Baseline. Baseline stuff. Again, and he plays multiple positions. Teams are not giving away linemen. You know why teams are not giving away linemen? Because it's so fucking hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
And when you find one, regardless of the contract situation, that's why when you see guys get paid and you're like, why did that lineman get paid? Because people overpay for linemen because it's so hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
People don't give away linemen. It's hard. It literally, it is. All right, so let's do this. Let's say, who's a team with a really good quarterback, but you know they're not going to compete? All right, look, let's do Jacksonville, right?
You said really good quarterback.
Whatever, or just a franchise quarterback, or somebody that they like. Yeah, you're right. That's a good joke. That's a really good joke. I like that.
Thank you. I have only recently given up on Trevor Lawrence. So I'm
no. We need to have a discussion. What I mean by that is like, all right, so look, so he's their guy. Let's just say that. He's their guy. So even if the Jacksonville Jaguars turn out to be sellers and they're not going anywhere, so you're gonna put a backup lineman in front of Trevor Lawrence, and if he gets killed, what was it for?
Yeah.
What was it for? Yeah, like people don't trade linemen. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
The best way to get offensive linemen in 2024, unless Trent Williams falls into your lap, is draft and develop. And I mean, go either way with the Niners because
and I love this.
He's been good and all that.
I love this. Aaron Banks, baseline left guard, is gonna get paid this offseason. When the contract comes in from whoever signs Aaron Banks, 49er fans are going to look at each other like, what the hell is that? Everyone hated Mike McGlinchey. Hated. What did Mike McGlinchey get?
A lot of money. 85. Was it 85? What was my, now I want to look it up. By the way, Ezra Cleveland got traded from Minnesota to Jacksonville, not Cleveland. I remembered his last name, not the location. Mike McGlinchey. I want to see this number now just to remember. Signs with Denver. It is $87.5 million. How much of that was guaranteed? How much was guaranteed?
Look, what's crazy is you go from McGlinchey. Go ahead.
Good. $50 million guaranteed.
What's crazy is you go from McGlinchey to McKivitz and you get the same output. But one was drafted in the 6th round and one was drafted overall number 9. And what are you paying him? See, bang for buck is something that's hard for people to understand, because you just watch a guy get plowed over and over and over. But the argument about McGlinchey was, yo, you were drafted number 9. Why are you getting tossed? If you want to blame anybody, blame the people that don't invest in those positions. That's fine. By the way, Kingsley Suyamata benched. Roger Rosengarten struggling.
Yeah.
You don't just draft right tackles because they're available. It doesn't mean that they're going to be good. But you take shots, and I understand that part. But it's kind of funny to me that, like, the 49ers didn't draft a right tackle. Kingsley was awful. He got benched. Rosengarten's first rep in the league on Thursday Night Football got his ass whipped and benched right after that. They were like literally, like, because you have a need, because there's a player, doesn't mean that player is going to fix your need.
Yeah.
Now, that's the hard part about scouting. And again, that's 2020 hindsight. And again, both those guys could be really good. But it's like Daniel says, same output, but far cheaper. Imagine paying Mike McGlinchey the same amount of money to get the same shit that you're getting from Colton McKivitz.
If the Niners had extended Mike McGlinchey, like we probably couldn't even be talking about the idea of extending Purdy. Like it's that type of stuff. And I don't know if this necessarily relates to the offensive line conversation, but I had a conversation with my Dolphins fan friend Albert the other day, and he was talking about. I have known Albert for 10 years now, and I messaged him and I was like, so what do we feel about the Dolphins? He sent me like a 2.5 paragraph text, and it was by far the longest text he has ever sent me in our friendship. And like, we've talked about like real life shit that I've only got like 2-word answers, but boy, oh boy, I asked him about the Dolphins and he had a lot to talk about. But kind of ties into the Niners because Mike McDaniel, the tie-in there was Shanahan, and he was kind of talking about the frustration of giving Tua the massive contract while he has his, had things going on, but not putting money into the offensive line. Like Taron Armstrong, like just he's still Taron there. Armstead. And I was like, listen, that's what the Niners do too. And I think it's a Shanahan thought of, why do you need to pay the offensive line? Ideally, they just hold up for 3 seconds and your quarterback's already gotten rid of the ball. And you see that a little bit with the Niners because listen, Niner fans are going to be in for a shock. They're going to be in for a shock when Trent Williams finally retires, because I feel like they're going to be like, oh, well, kind of like Joe Staley, they're going to go make a splash. No, the Niners are going to replace Trent Williams with some 4th round pick they find. Like, that's probably what's going to happen. And they're going to keep the line as cheap as they can for as long as they can, because I don't want to make it about Brock Purdy. I mean, it is about Brock Purdy because we're talking about protecting him, but go look at Brock Purdy's pressure numbers versus not pressured right now. And outside of the completion percentage, there's not much of a difference. Purdy is torching teams under pressure still, outside of completion percentage, as I said, because you throw more incompletions. So I just think Niner fans need to get used to the idea of this is what the offensive line's going to be under Kyle Shanahan, right? Don't you? Well, listen, don't put that evil on you, but the Niners replaced Alex Mack, who's probably Kyle Shanahan's favorite center, with a dude that had 10 snaps as a center in the NFL. They replaced Mike McGlinchey, who, yes, while we have discussed at length on this podcast how good or bad he is, whether people like it or not, is a starter quality right tackle in the NFL today. The Niners replaced him with Colton McKivitz, who gives you the same production for less. The Niners have shown you time and time again, outside of the Trent Williams trade. The Trent Williams trade is the outlier, not the rule. The Niners don't care about how much the offensive line costs. Just protect Brock Purdy for 4 seconds every play, and we're good. So I don't know. We need to not think about upgrading the offensive line at the trade deadline.
It's like Chris Forrester said. He's like, I agree. He was like, pay guys who can get in the end zone. And as it functions in the offense, everything has to, be, one hand washes the other, both hands wash the face, right? And what's funny? You bring up Tua. I don't know how, but Tua's making more money now watching this offense without him, because I thought Andrew Pasquini, I thought it was the system. I thought it was the weapons. I thought Tua was a scheme merchant, and all those things could be true. But the idea that you can just replace him with anybody is insane. And that's kind of I can't pay Tua that amount of money. Cool. Go play Snoop Huntley. Go play Skylar Thompson.
I'm so happy Tua got paid, though, because I don't want to say if he didn't get paid, he might be playing right now. It's that type of stuff. And it's just
right. Trying to force him.
Scary situation.
Yeah, no, but back to kind of the way the 49ers, their scenario, is with how they go with the offensive line. It's gonna be guys in-house. Okay. It's gonna be guys that fit their physical profile. It's gonna be guys that short shuttle, right? That's what they love about Jake Brendel, and that's what Chris Forrester brought him from Miami. I think you have every right to be frustrated because you look around and you see guys drafting guys, right? But the Lions get a high pick, they end up with Penei Sewell, and then they have Taylor Decker and they Ragnow, all of those guys, right? I think if that's your frustration, I 100% hear you. I get it. But the 49ers won't be picking that high.
No.
And the 49ers seem to not value that position, whatever it is, more because the offense, the scheme, right? Think about this. Cole McKivitz started all last year. This line, it got better. Feliciano's on the way too. Yeah. Felicio's on the way, is on the way back too. So that's another reinforcement that I think we're kind of, losing sight of, because he was very solid. For all of the talk about Cole McKivitz, for all of the talk of that, the 49ers were minutes away from winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And if you want to pin it on the miscommunication on the line, that's fine. What I can point to, fumble punt, fumble in the red zone, no points on an interception. For all that talk about this offensive line, they were minutes away from winning it all. And I wouldn't say that the offensive line was the main reason that they lost that game. The Kansas City defense was very good. They just made more plays. And then down the stretch, the defense couldn't finish it out. So, yes, I understand. The hesitance is I don't want to see another quarterback get hurt. I get it. And that's fair. Nothing works if the O-line's bad. The 49ers are running the ball very well, especially to the right side with Colton McKivitz. Sounds familiar. Running the ball well, kind of bad in pass pro. McGlinchey, McKivitz, same thing. But you can't argue with them getting that close with that offensive line. And if we feel so poorly about this offensive line, then you should have given Kyle Shanahan a medal if he got it done. He didn't get it done. You guys are going to yell at me now. I got you. Brandon Green.
Before Brandon's comment here, I just realized, Jason, that Penei Sewell is my Terry McLaurin for you.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned him specifically, and I
and Kyle
winced
Pitts
because
for you too.
there was a certain person on this podcast who said when the Niners traded for the 3rd overall pick that maybe instead of a quarterback, they should go Penei Sewell at 3, and then they didn't, and Penei Sewell turned out pretty good, and I don't know what happened with that 3rd pick anyways.
If you want to take victory laps, who's the best starting quarterback of that group from that quarterback draft this year?
It's got to be this year from that group. Oh God, I'm forgetting somebody, aren't I? Because I want to say it's Trevor Lawrence, but who am I forgetting? Oh, Justin Fields. It's Justin Fields. I forgot somebody.
Funny how that works, huh?
Weird how that works. Anyways, Brandon Green, would Kyle ever hire an outside O coordinator to complement his run game like retreads such as Cliff Kingsbury or Ken Dorsey? I got a name.
Mike McDaniel. Come on
exactly.
back.
I don't know if it counts as an outside name, but I've already convinced myself that when the Miami Dolphins fired Mike McDaniels, he is taking the first flight out to SFO, taking that trip to Santa Clara, and he is working for the San Francisco 49ers.
Get back in the lab
until he works his way back until he's a head coach again.
Yeah,
you like that?
Hugo, I love it. Hugo says, any help for the D-line after Hargrave got hurt? I floated the name Hassan Ridgeway. Al Woods is somebody that it could be. But I think what's pretty cool is, and again, it's a 1 or 2 game sample size in limited snaps. And I'm going to throw this out at you as well, too. Sammy O could be in on base downs. Sammy O could be in on base. All right, so look, walk with me. Walk with me real quick. Sammy O gets in on base downs with Malik Collins, Bosa, Jordan Elliott, for the most part, because your two gross models isn't going to play in this game. But all right, so let's say it's like this. Your two gross models, Sammy O, Hargrave. Why do I keep saying Hargrave? Malik Collins and Nick Bosa. Yep. And you keep Leonard Floyd in the D forward role where he just goes and gets the quarterback. You keep him fresh, situational pass rusher, get him out on base downs as well, too. I think the 49ers are fine with what they have, but they definitely have to look around. Hassan Ridgeway is a name to look for. Unfortunately, there's no Kerry Hyder out there. I think he's done playing football. Al Woods, Kalia Davis is back as well, too. But I'm floating the idea to you, Sammy O in on base downs and Leonard Floyd in on obvious passing downs and third down like D Ford to just go get the quarterback, keep him fresh, and don't let him do anything but rush the passer. That's it.
I like Okuanu. I liked him after the Rams game. He had a couple plays against the Rams that really stood out. Niners lost that, so it kind of fell to the back burner for my thought. But yeah, I'm down for more Okuanu snaps, Sammy O snaps, just to say. Jason, I think the funniest one personally, and it's never. I'm putting this in. I'm shopping at Gucci again. I'm in the Devontae Adams aisle still. No, dude, I'm thinking the funny not gonna happen because they can't sign an extension. Hassan Reddick, come on down. Like that would be a fun one. Just to swoop him from the Eagles or from the Jets, never playing a snap. That'd be fun. No, I don't know because I don't know if there's a name that I can think of off the top of my head that the Niners can go out and get to help the defensive line as it is outside of other than depth. I think the Niners, when it comes to the defensive line, they're going to look for somebody who would be more of a 1-for-1 replacement for Javon Hargrave instead of a depth piece move. I just don't think they're looking for that at that point. I think they really were all in with the idea of having a top-heavy defensive line. So insert whatever name you want to pick for that. I don't know who it would be. Mm-hmm. I think if the Niners are going to trade for anybody at the deadline, it's going to be somebody outside of the trenches. I think it's going to be a running back, maybe a linebacker if Dre Greenlaw's recovery doesn't go as well as they thought. Maybe another secondary member. I don't know, man. I don't know because you can't get offensive linemen. And let's be honest, I think last year after the Randy Gregory trades Chase Young thing, I think the Niners might be looking away from maybe an in-season trade for a defensive lineman.
Possibly, but I would say this. I think there's a far better chance that they trade for a defensive lineman at the trade deadline, which, coincidentally is their bye week, because teams will sell their edge players for picks.
Yes.
They will. They're not going to sell linemen for picks, for obvious reasons. Like I was saying, like regardless, like if you have a quarterback, you're not trying to get him killed because you want to pick and you're not, linemen are too valuable. I think there's a far better chance of that. And I think it's going to boil down to who's tanking, who's not playing well, who's going to be available, who's up for a contract. Do I know that right now going into week 5? I don't. And I would be dumb to sit here and like lie, about, because things happen fast. But I think there's a better chance at that than anything. I think that's where they'll find it. And that's where you'll find your 1-year rental that isn't going to cost you anything. That's going to be where you kind of just load this thing up. Now, on the flip side of that, the picks thing, burning picks on fire. You've already like kind of burnt them for, McCaffrey and, and all these other guys. And luckily, this draft class is very promising so far, even if our first round pick hasn't even played yet. But the idea of setting picks on fire and then not getting it done with this group, it doesn't sit well with a lot of people. So it feels like, obviously, we don't like the Rams, but the Rams go all in. They get Von Miller, they get Odell Beckham, they set those picks on fire. They win a championship, though. So it's a lot easier to swallow when it comes to that. If you got all those picks gone and you didn't win it, and you're going to have all these departures, I doubt you're going to see Hargrave back next year. You might lose Mooney. You might lose this guy. You might lose that guy. If you're going to make a move, it's got to be something that's going to be very impactful and is going to change the dynamic of your defensive line and put you in a position to get back to where you need to be. And you have to finish the job, because another year of doing that, not getting it done, missing out on those picks, the way you restock the cupboard is in the draft. And I think they did a great job this year because they finally got their first round picks back and everything. But it's a tough sell for some 49er fans who are going to say, damn it, at the end of this time, if they don't get it done, man, we don't have valuable picks again. Second round picks, something like that for somebody that's really good. And that player walks. It's not even like you could bring that player back. So for a rental, it's tough to light those picks on fire right now.
And it's a tough one, too, because I just Googled this, so if I'm wrong here, the 49ers only have one of every round right now for the 2025 draft.
Yeah.
One.
Well, the comp picks will come in.
Comp picks will come in, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's, but at the trade deadline, I don't think you could trade comp picks you don't have.
No, you don't have.
We're just talking. But another name here, Peyton. What is DJ Jones up to these days? His contract's expiring at the end of the year.
Denver could be tanking.
Denver's Javonte Williams and DJ Jones package deal. Bought a big
Love
pot
it.
of
Do it. Do it now.
We like
do it.
Jason, I just kind of threw Devontae Adams out there, and then we spent the next 30 minutes talking about the trade deadline that's a month away. So maybe we'll have a trade deadline episode kind of closer to it. Let's get to predictions. Niners Cardinals. Remember when we were talking about that Niners Cardinal game? Well, here we go. Predictions. Jason, before we get to the predictions, though, Underdog, we love the app. Use promo code Aponte. They match your first, I almost said donation, your first deposit.
They are donating.
It could be a donation. Hey, if you listen to
honestly, I've been donating.
If you listen to my picks, you sure as hell donating that money. Underdog, use promo code Aponte. They'll match your first deposit up to $1,000. Jason Aponte, who are, I'm going to give some picks too. I'll let you go first, and then I'm going to give some.
All right. Yeah. Again, take the free money, 12.5 rushing yards higher, Brandon. Brock Purdy. It's too easy. It's too easy. It's too easy every week. It's the freest money that you've ever seen. I already said I am calling the Brandon Ayuk big game, 59.5 higher. Stop playing with him. That one's too easy. Another one that I'm going to say, Trey McBride over 4.5 first quarter receiving yards. So I think that's a really good one as well. And let's just take a fourth one. You know what? Let's have some fun with it. It's not there, of course, because they're smart. We're going to do 88.5 over Jordan Mason. Those are my 4 picks for Underdog. Remember, Underdog, you use the promo code Aponte up to $1,000. If you're using Pick'em, you are getting 10% cash back. Underdog is the best place to wager on your favorite players, higher, lower. Sign up for Underdog, promo code Aponte.
Okay, somebody track this for me. You ready? Let's see how I do. I'm gonna go half a touchdown higher for James Conner. He has a touchdown in 4 or 5 games against the 49ers.
What?
I'm gonna take that one. Brock Purdy, I saw his number for passing yards. It was 259.5. I'm gonna take the higher on that. I listen. You could take Jason's little rushing yard props and feel comfortable about it and happy because he's definitely 100% going to get 12.5 rushing yards. But big boys get passing yards. I'll take that higher 259. I wouldn't be surprised if that number's in the 3 area. Ooh, Jordan May 88.5 for Jordan Mason.
It's
That's
a lot.
a little high. That's a
It's a
little
lot.
high.
It's a lot.
I'm gonna go Debo higher than 14.5 rushing yards.
That's pretty good too.
That feels like a low number. So
Yeah.
I'll take 3. I will take 3. I'll take my James Conner rushing. I'll take my higher than Debo Samuel rushing yards. And I'll take my higher than Brock Purdy passing yards. So we'll see how that goes. Jason, hell of an episode today. Let's get to these predictions. You already said your score, kind of. I'll throw my score out there. 2022, 38-10. Second time in 2022, 38-13. Week 4, 2023, 35-16. Week 15 of 2023, 45-29. Week 5, 2024, your San Francisco 49ers 48, the Arizona Cardinals 17. Niners are going to put points up. They're going to put so many. We're going to be sick of scoring. That's how many points they're going to put up on the board on Sunday. Give me 48-17. 49ers dominate, and we're going to be talking about how the 49ers are all the way back on Monday.
Ooh, oh man,
that's a high number. I put that in NinerNation.com as well. Like I just threw it out there.
I'd love that, honestly. And man, you know, the only thing about those blowout games is that the post-game shows, the instant reaction are just, they're kind of bland. Right? Like everybody's happy and everybody's in the comments like, oh yeah, you know, it's just need like a gritty win.
That blowout game, the blowout game in Mexico City was very nice for us because remember, we had the Sprint Red Option podcast on the Niners app. And it was like, oh man, we can talk about because one of the rules was, hey, don't say anything mean. Like you can't be mean. Thank God they blew the Cardinals out, made that real easy for that episode, huh?
Yeah, they definitely told us too. Like, hey, we're gonna put you on the app, but watch what you say. And I was like,
yeah, don't say anything mean.
Me say something inflammatory? How dare you? I was like, almost like you didn't research me, but they definitely did, and they were saying it. No, look, 31-21 49ers. I think this game is gonna be a little annoying throughout. But the 49ers have too much. They're going to get away from it. It will be a little hairy. There's going to be some wonky plays, some pass interferences down the field that move the ball. 31-21, though, the 49ers end up pulling away. I like 48-10, though, man. That'll be really fun. Like, if it's 48-10, then I can crack a beverage halfway through the game because the post-game show is going to be a breeze. If it's a little tense, then I got to sit here sober so I can give everybody the real news and everything as well too. So yeah, it would be nice to kick back a little bit, and then I get to hang out and then go to Sunday Night Football, at my local bar. But yeah, 31-21. I think it's gonna be a game that for a little while you're gonna be like, why is it this close? Why is it this close? And then finally the levee breaks. The Cardinals just don't have enough, but they are gonna stick around enough to just be annoying. Like Hugo says, mosquito bites. Those are fun to scratch though.
They're very fun to scratch. So if you're listening to the Sprint Right Option podcast, it's either going to be a semi-stressful Sunday or it's going to be a stress-free Sunday. One of the two. We'll find out. Jason, it was fun. We'll be back Monday for the post-game. Normal time on Monday because there's only one. We should looking back at it, we should have done that 4:30 to 5:15 on Monday because nobody was going to watch the Titans and Jets. We should have thought about that one.
And we will keep you posted for when the show is on Monday because somebody might be going to see playoff baseball at Yankee Stadium.
That works too. Okay, so we'll figure it out. Jason. Well, that's a later in the day conversation.
Wait, we're not going to talk Yankees?
Oh yeah, we'll talk. Well, the one I wanted to mention really quick because I know you don't care about them. Mets have been kind of fun.
Oh, they're super fun. Okay.
Run.
Okay. Can I go off a little bit real quick?
Yes.
Just real quick. And this is about baseball. Guys, I understand if you completely tune out real quick, and I understand. But this
Jason Aponte, as always, go Niners, yada, yada, yada. Okay, baseball talk.
Okay, look, and I'm going to put this in a way because we have California fans, obviously Giants, Dodgers, Angels. We have all of them here, right? Like the only team that I haven't seen pop up in our chat is the Padres. But and Hugo, I'm a diehard Yankee fan, right? I despise Michael Kay. And here's why.
Yeah.
First of all, bro thinks he's on the team. He's a Yankee fan who is non-objective when he's in the booth, and anytime the Yankees do anything, everything's right. And he thinks he's going to get a World Series ring if the Yankees finish it. Newsflash, no, you're not. You're the announcer. They're the players. You're not involved. So today on his stupid radio show, he goes on with a Mets fan who actually I think is far more intelligent, far more level-headed, and Peter Rosenberg. And he says that Yankee fans are happy for the New York Mets and they need to be ashamed. Andrew Pasquini, to quote the great Derek Jeter, there is no hatred for the Mets. The Mets are just there. They're just the Mets. I am not rooting for them. I am not rooting against them. You know why? They don't bother me. You know why I never hated Tom Brady and the Patriots? They didn't victimize me. You know why I hate Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs? They victimized me. You know why I hate Russell Wilson in Seattle? They victimized me. You think I care about what Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers were doing? They didn't do shit to me. I hate the Boston Red Sox. I hate the Houston Astros. Yep. And to put it with Giants fans, this is why it's different. The only similarities between the Yankees and the Mets are that they play in the same state. The difference with Giants fans is they're all in the same division. You're blood rivals. The Yankees and the Mets play 4 meaningless regular season games. And when it was time for the Yankees to play them when it mattered in 2000 in the World Series, the Yankees rolled them 4-1. I do not care about the New York Mets. I do not care if they win. I do not care if they lose. I care about the Yankees beating the Royals and then the Guardians and then going to the World Series and facing the Dodgers. There's your official prediction. But the idea that Yankee fans hate the New York Mets is insane because the New York Mets have never done anything to me other than exist. And since I've been going to games in 1991, the New York Mets have been largely irrelevant. I don't care about the Seattle Mariners. I don't care about other teams that don't do anything to me. The idea that the Yankees fans are rooting against the Mets, I don't care. We'll see, and I'll root against you if you make the World Series. But the idea that I spend 1 minute thinking about the New York Mets has got to be one of the worst things I've ever heard Michael Kay say. Yeah. Terrible.
No. You say the regular season games between the Mets and Yankees don't matter, but I'm sitting here. I think of the Luis Castillo drop pop-up at least once a week.
Oh, 2009. That was the
Remember
last year.
That?
Fun fact.
That was,
last year the Yankees won the World Series.
That was such a crazy way to end a baseball game. Luis Castillo just popping up or dropping a pop-up can of corn at second base. And then was it Teixeira that scored from first on that or something? Like
it was popped it up.
That was a crazy.
That's the first year in the new Yankee Stadium. We win the World Series that year. They beat the Phillies. But I understand why the Giants hate the Dodgers. I understand why the Giants hate the Padres. I understand all of that. You know why? They're in the same division. Mm-hmm. We don't hate the Mets. The Mets hate us. And you know why? Little brother syndrome. But I don't care. When you're the big brother and we're playing Madden and I'm playing against my little brother and I'm whipping him and I'm the person that I know for a fact is winning, I'm not seeking out my little brother. Little brother's got to come do it to us. And they've never done it. In 1996 was the first year that they did the interleague play with the Subway Series. And the New York Yankees lost the first game. I remember going to school. Oh, my God, you lost to the Mets. Y'all suck. The Yankees win the next 2. You know what else they did in 1986? Won their first championship with Derek Jeter as a rookie. If the Yankees lose all 4 games to the Mets like they did this year and win the World Series, I don't give a fuck about those games. I don't, because I care about the ultimate prize, not Grimace, not some stupid song. That's them. Now that's me taking a shot at the Mets. But I don't care about the Mets. It's just Michael Kay was yelling, like, you younger fans, what do you know? Bro, you're not on the team. I don't like listening to you. I'm so glad Bob Costas is calling this game with Ron Darling. You're not on the team.
From one team you don't care about, how to a team you do care about. How sick was it to watch the Tigers finish off the Astros, though?
Oh, so you see why I'm popping my shit?
Yeah. The Astros are gone. We're good.
The beast is gone. The beast is gone. The Royals, it's all AL Central teams. Fun fact, and I love talking baseball. Fun fact, the Royals are in, the Tigers are in, the Guardians are in. If you took all of the games that they beat the Chicago White Sox, they would all be 500 teams, except for Cleveland. I wish that we could. You know what's more embarrassing than losing to the Mets? The New York Yankees lost to the Chicago White Sox this year. That's more embarrassing. But if you took away all those 19 games that they have against the Chicago White Sox, their records are 500. Now, I'm supposed to be scared as a New York Yankee fan. Get it out of my face. Houston, rest in piss.
I'm happy the Giants took 2 of 3 from the White Sox. That makes me happy. Did you know the Giants were the ones that actually fixed the Tigers? The Tigers came to San Francisco, looked miserable for a 3-game series, and I think the Giants took either 2 or 3 or swept them. And then the next day is when the Tigers started their run. Like, I think after the Giants game, their playoff chances were like 1.2%
yep.
or something. This has been such like I haven't watched a ton of baseball this year. Baseball for me is about how good the Giants do, and boy, oh boy, the Giants were not a fun baseball team this year. But you get back into it for the playoffs because playoffs baseball is the best. And like
that Mets game was fun as hell.
Unless you're a Brewers fan, like how are you not excited?
That Mets game was fun as hell.
Run? Like that was sick.
I was watching that game purely out of being a baseball fan and watching postseason. I wasn't sitting there like, God, I hope the Mets lose. And when they won, oh God, I was like, man, that was cool. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, and especially even considering the run. I mean, we were live last week when they had their comeback against the Braves, like to make the playoffs. So like
that was awesome.
The Mets have had such a sick run. I mean, it's a bummer it came at the Brewers because the Brewers were such a fun team.
Yeah.
But I mean, God, I think my biggest fear, and Giants fans, close your ears. I think this is the year it happens.
Yeah.
I think this is the year the Dodgers finally.
Yeah.
Something about Shohei, and I know their pitching isn't great, but there's something about Shohei.
No, look, Major League Baseball, if there's any way to fix it, is you need to get the Yankees and the Dodgers on that final stage to get Judge and Ohtani in the World Series. Look, again, I know we got a bunch of Giants fans in here. We got a bunch of, people that hate the Dodgers. I get it. It's purely for the sport. The worst thing that could happen is the Detroit Tigers play the Philadelphia Phillies in the World Series. That is the worst thing that could happen for baseball. The best thing would be the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers. That series would feed families and finally put to bed the fact that Aaron Judge is the best player in baseball. Okay, I think we're done here.
I don't think you could really go wrong with any of the NL teams, though. Like
no,
the
Mets,
NL, Phillies, the Padres, not any of those.
That Padres Dodgers series is lit, and Mets Phillies is gonna be a bloodbath.
I miss the day. This is Andrew's old man baseball take here.
Matt, some of us don't like the Yankees. Matt, respectfully, we don't think about the Giants. This is a one-sided beef. You don't like us, we don't think about you. You're just beefing with you're beefing. It's like if I said I don't like Drake. Think Drake gives a shit? Do you think Kendrick gives a shit if I don't like him? Like, I'm not trying to disrespect, but the Giants never did nothing to me. Yankees never did nothing to you, but exist. You just a one-sided beef here. Wait, I think you're muted.
Yankees. Am I?
Yeah, now it just went to your AirPods.
You good?
It went to your AirPods.
Oh, in my headphone, I guess my mic disconnected. No, 2010, we almost got there because didn't the Yankees lose the ALCS to the Rangers in 2010?
Yes. Yeah. Thanks. All right. Do you want to talk about 2004?
Yeah. Can you hear me now? I think I'm back on this mic now. Going back to 2004, that was what I was going to say. My old man complained about this playoff setup here. I miss the days where the divisional matchups could not take place until the championship series. No, they didn't, Mac McHose. I promise. We don't need to go. Jason's yell. We don't have enough time.
Matt. Oh, no. Let's do it. Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, Andy Pettitte, Bernie Williams, Jorge Posada, all homegrown Yankees. Stop it. Just stop it. They tried to do it in the 2000s and it didn't win any. Stop it. That is one of the worst narratives in the world. The Yankees literally, they're called the Core Four. What?
I think
they buy the chips. You did it. You pissed me off. I know you did it on purpose.
Yeah, well, Derek Jeter wouldn't be that good if he was on the Reds anyway. No, I'm joking, Jason. I'm joking. No, but my old man take was I miss when the division, like you couldn't face a division team until the championship series, right? Because back in 2004, you mentioned 2004, 2003, that area, those Yankees Red Sox series were so good because they were in the championship series. And I think one of them could have been a divisional series, but you can't face a divisional team in the division series. So they had to wait until the I wish we could get divisional games in the championship series again. I don't know if we can do that anymore though.
No, and I like this new structure with the 3 games and the wild card. It makes it more fun. I like who doesn't want more playoff baseball?
No. Yeah, no,
My
that's
brother
the thing.
doesn't like it. That's my brother's old man take. I don't like everybody gets in. I'm like, everybody doesn't get in.
I'm happy they did away with the 1-game play-in. The
I don't like that either.
Play-in was.
But look, but think about this. In Arizona, do you think that they don't like the wild card? They literally went to the World Series, based off that. They lost to the Rangers last year. It's like the
hey man, then they missed this year by 1 game too. So just kind of give and take.
But and then we get to watch game 162 matter. Like, and that's the thing. That's kind of the fear. Like, it would have been really cool if Baltimore would have made it. Baltimore Yankees is a little bit more sexy than Kansas City Royals, but what if they're the team that just gets hot? They've got good pitching, man. Like, you just need to get hot at the right moment. And that's what makes playoff baseball so fun.
I think with the Yankees' recent playoff luck, you want the less sexy series right now. I think you just want Kansas City rolling into Detroit, and then kind of good luck in the World Series because there's a lot of good teams there. So
look, predictions: Yankees, Guardians, Dodgers. Damn it, Phillies.
Okay, this isn't my real prediction because I really like Bryce Harper, and I got my little Bryce Harper here, but just to annoy Jason Aponte. Tigers over Guardians, Yankees over Royals, Mets over Phillies, Padres over Dodgers. Get those Dodgers out. Yankees over Tigers, Mets over Padres. Give me that Subway World Series.
Subway Series
a little bit.
That's what'll make me hate the Mets,
because then we'll transition from we don't care about the Mets to potentially
now we care.
Be hurt.
Now we care.
No, so I think the second best World Series for a Sprint Ride Option podcast that is not Giants Yankees, because that would be peak podcast. Give me Yankees Mets in the World Series. I would love that.
So in the same breath that Derek Jeter said, we didn't have this hatred of the Mets, he said the 2000 World Series was the most pressure packed because he's walking around the city and they're like, you better not lose to the Mets. And dude, if the Mets make it, then they start to get to that feeling of just like, shit. They're like this team of destiny type, right? And then they've got so many former Yankees, Severino, Ottavino, like that. That's kind of fun, but it's not fun for me because I wouldn't be able to leave my house if the New York Yankees didn't beat the Mets. And Peyton's asking about Tito Francona becoming the Red.
Tito Francona, dude. Coming out of retirement, I love it.
I tried to explain to somebody who's a big basketball fan, and they said, explain in basketball terms. And I said, okay, it's like if Steve Kerr leaves the Warriors and goes and coaches the Lakers. Because it's Cincinnati, Cleveland, right? Like, yeah. So, like, I was just trying to explain, like, good coach, good place, went somewhere else in the same state. That's kind of how that was my NBA. Like, you know how you brought up the Buster Posey thing, and I was like, explain the NFL terms.
Yeah.
And you told me Steve Young, and it made perfect sense. It clicked. I thought that was a good one.
Yeah, it's even weirder though with Tito because he retired. Like he stepped away from baseball, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna." But Jason, in a hypothetical world, hypothetical questions, we're not throwing it out there. What if the Mets hypothetically beat the Yankees in a World Series? Would your first tweet be, "I wish the Astros made it in"?
No.
Like, would you? Which one's worse to you, losing to the Astros again or losing to the Mets in a World Series? I'm just being mean at this point now.
No. Losing to the Astros is almost like you kind of know. Right. Yeah. Like that's why I was so happy with the Mets. It's so deep because I have family members that are Mets fans. I have close friends that are Mets fans, and they'll always have that. And that's something the two real big stains that I have as a Yankee fan is the 2001 World Series that they lose to the Arizona Diamondbacks after 9/11, which is like if there was ever a year for them to ever win it, it was that one. And then obviously 2004 when you choke away a 3-0 lead. But the stain of losing to the Mets in this town and how hard and I'll give the Mets fans this. They are very, very, very loyal. That's why they're Mets fans. That's why they say marry Mets and Knicks fans, because they're very loyal. Both blue and orange, by the way. They're very loyal. They would deserve to celebrate, but they'd never let me hear I swear to God, I wouldn't leave my house, man. I don't want to hear it. I would turn my phone off. I might move. That type of stuff. So like I don't like this. I see Yankees Mets in 2000. I said, you guys have no shot. I'm like, we're literally 2 years away from setting an AL record in wins. I'm like, you guys have no shot. I was like, it's a wrap. We're messing around. We're bringing in Jose Canseco at the end of the year and messing around or whatever. Like, I was like, but that, if they made it this time with how close everything is, I'd be very, very definitely afraid.
The Mets, if they make the World Series, like not even like it doesn't have to be a Yankees thing, but if they make the World Series, the team of if they continue to win the way they've been, like falling behind and coming back, those Team of Destiny vibes would be so high, and like you don't want to run into it. So
look, let's close this out. But did you see JD Martinez's quote?
I did not. Oh, I think I did. What was it? What was the quote? I think I saw.
I gotta find it. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it right now. If you want to tell everybody where we can find the podcast so we can sign off, but this is a quote that needs to be said. And remember, it's not mine, so don't yell pause or whatever. About like me saying something. I'm just repeating what was said by JD Martinez. I've got it. Quote. They say we suck. We suck. Let's suck. Let's go suck together. Let's go have fun sucking, and let's enjoy it. And that's kind of what I think we did. I think we did that as a team.
Jason Aponte, as always.
Let's go Niners.
Let's go suck as a team.
Welcome, everybody.
We are live.
My name is Jason Aponte.
I am Andrew Pasquini.
We're working. That's it. We're working over here. That's it. Let's go Niners.
Let's go Niners.